sometimes a little too close for comfort this season. Stephen A., should we have any doubts about Kansas City?
Well, listen, they're all of our favorites. We all look at them because of Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, who just reminds us he's the best tight end in football. And we say, look, these brothers are unstoppable. I'm going to sit up there and say to you, I've seen some vulnerabilities. The Raiders played them pretty damn tough last night. I thought the Chiefs was going to blow them out. We talked about this last week, and I had the Chiefs running away with this game because I thought it was going to be a vengeful game because the Raiders gave them their only loss for this season. But when you run the football, when you engage in ball control, and you play smash mouth kind of football, and you're able to move the chains, that could create some problems for the Kansas City Chiefs. We saw the defense arguing on the sidelines with one another because guys were wide open in a couple of situations where Derek Carr was able to throw a touchdown pass. You just look at some of the things this year when you watch the Chiefs play. How many times is Patrick Mahomes going to be called upon to come to the rescue? We know he's capable of doing it. He's done it on numerous occasions. I'm in no way trying to say that they're not the favorites. I get it. But do I look at them as a team that could be had? Yeah, I do. I think that you know what? You can't just sleep on Pittsburgh. If they would, obviously, if they get to the Super Bowl, you can't just sleep on a Tampa. You damn sure can't sleep on New Orleans. And I look at it from that perspective. That's why I say, excuse me, they're the favorites. But doubts about their potency compared to what we've seen, particularly last year, there's a slimmer doubt there for me, personally. It just is.
Yeah, I mean, of course the Chiefs look vulnerable. That's the thing about them. The reason I like them to win the Super Bowl is the reasons that you point out, Stephen A., because you can run on their defense. They were undisciplined yesterday. They weren't great in pass coverage. Like, there were a lot of reasons, and that's been the case, by the way. Forget about right now. Let's go back to last year's playoffs. They had double-digit deficits in every game. Like, they're down to Texans. They're down to the Titans. They're way down late to the San Francisco 49ers, and they come back on all of them. And then early this season, in everyone's power rankings, right? The Chiefs are not number one. Why? Because they're showing vulnerabilities. It's like they're playing with teams. When Patrick Mahomes got the ball back with over a minute to go, did anyone doubt he was going to win the game? You knew it was over. You gave Patrick Mahomes over a minute, and it was even easier than I thought it would be. So, yes, the Chiefs' defense makes them look vulnerable. It makes them more exciting, maybe, even than they should be. And yes, it doesn't look as good as it did last year. It reminds me more of the year before. Maybe it's just good enough. But I'll remind everyone, the year before, which was Patrick Mahomes' real rookie season as quarterback, they should have won the Super Bowl. A pre-snap penalty did it to him. And that was the first time he touched the ball, really. And then the next year, they won the Super Bowl, showing vulnerability. And they've shown a lot of vulnerability so far this season to the tune of a 9-1 record. Yep, their defense looked suspect last night, and I'm telling you, it's not going to matter.
Man, there's no doubt about the Chiefs. This is the runaway best team in football. First of all, I want to make sure everyone understands. I've been trying for a month to get people to believe that the Raiders are a very, very good football team. And they are built to beat one team, the Kansas City Chiefs. They could be explosive on offense, they control the football, and their offensive line can dominate a game, right? But here's the thing. Last night, the Raiders played their A game. That is their A game. They did exactly what they wanted to. They were explosive. They controlled the football. They had multiple drives that owned the clock. Not good enough. Still wasn't good enough because the Chiefs are this team. However you want to get it, that's how you can get it. If you want them to take shots downfield, they can do that. Yesterday, they had 3 drives. The Kansas City Chiefs, with Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, they had 3 drives that went over 13 plays. That's because the Raiders dared them to do that. Can you be methodical going down the field? And the Chiefs are like, yeah, we're good. We could beat you however you want us to beat you. And they still have Patrick Mahomes. And so, for that reason, there is no doubt in my mind, this is the best team in football, and this is the team that will win the Super Bowl. Well, they're the most talented team. No one can stop Travis Kelce. I'll say it again. No one can stop Travis Kelce. Mahomes continues to do things that defy physics, and their defense is good enough. The Raiders are built to beat them. Don't get caught up in how those games happen. Patrick Mahomes, the best player in football. I have zero doubts about this team.
Well, Dan Orlovsky, first of all, I would say to you, you need to watch First Take just a little bit more, because about over the last couple of weeks, we had a discussion about who was the sleeper in the AFC, if not the entire NFL. Max Kellerman mentioned Miami. I mentioned the Las Vegas Raiders. So you ain't the only one that's been talking about them. That's number one. Number two, I would challenge you on their A game. I would say their A game is the game they won against the Kansas City Chiefs, when they dropped 40, when they rushed for 139 yards, when Ruggs scored, had 2 receptions for 118 yards, including a big time bomb touchdown catch, okay? And the defense held the Kansas City Chiefs to 8 points in the fourth quarter. So I would make the contention that the A game was the game the Raiders won, as opposed to last night's game. Number 3, I would also say this would be my biggest point. Dan and Max, here's what I'm willing to contend to you, why I feel just a tad bit different when you talk about just having a sliver of doubt. The Kansas City Chiefs had double-digit deficits in the divisional playoff game and the AFC Championship game last year, right?
Yes.
They would not win those games this year. You can't go in the AFC Championship game and be down 17 or 24. You can't be in the AFC divisional playoff game, and that's going to happen again with the way this defense operates against the run. I think that a team, if they were able to capture such a lead in the playoffs this year coming up, I think they would run the ball more effectively, and as a result, they would win those games. That's what I mean by when I say the sliver of doubt. They ain't going to get away now with what they got away with last year.
I disagree.
The best chance you have of beating the Chiefs is a shootout. And by the way, they're pretty damn good in shootouts.
All right, we'll leave it on that note. When we come back here, guys, how about the Saints? We got some news with that team as well. No Breeze, no problem for Hill and the Saints. Find out why Taysom is not the biggest story from their win.